Hello, everybody. Welcome to the April release of Content and Experience Cloud pre-release webcast. We also call this the 17.2.1 release. My name is Tyaga Vasudevan. I lead product management for content management and collaboration capabilities on the cloud at Oracle. I'm joined by Igor, who leads experience management side of the house. We have a pretty packed agenda. Typically in these pre-release webcasts, we do a quick review of what we released in February, but I'm going to go against the norm this time because of the amount of content we have. Besides, this presentation will be shared with all of you, so you can always review that. I'll just cover one of the recap elements, which is the rebranding of documents and sites into Content and Experience Cloud, and then I'll move on. I'll focus more on the April release overview. Igor will give a demo, and then we'll talk about roadmap. I want to leave some time at the end for any questions, but doesn't mean you have to wait till the end. Keep it interactive. You can ask questions in the WebEx chat panel, and we'll try to answer it as we go along. Without further ado, the first thing I just wanted to quickly recap, as you might remember, in 17.1.3, or as part of our February release, we rebranded Documents and Sites Cloud Service into Content and Experience Cloud. So in that release, what happened was things like the product labeling, the notification emails, the about box, etc., started talking about it as Content Experience Cloud. But now you will see that branding trickling into different areas of the product. So for example, if you download the desktop sync app, it will say Oracle Content. If you download the mobile app, it will say Oracle Content. And then over time, we had said that we are going to add more enterprise level features into this product because we're going to have two separate SKUs at an enterprise. And more importantly, we've started introducing that as part of our April release. And that is where I want to focus most of the attention. Without further ado, I'm going to go into the April release. Igor, do you want me to share, or do you want to share and talk about it? Either way is fine with me.
Okay, actually, let's go through the slides, and if you can help go through the slides, and then I'll share the browser when I get to the demo.
Okay, sounds great.
Thank you, Diego. Okay, good morning. Hello, everyone. So the April release of the Content and Experience Cloud is a feature-rich release. Very rich release. Broadly speaking, we added two capabilities to the product. The first capability is digital asset management, where we allow you to create, manage assets through collections, submit assets for the approval, and also really tag assets to simplify the search and facilitate teams of users work on the digital assets. Related to this feature is really the capability to create and manage structured content in the product, which I will talk about later on. The reason why they're related is because in either case, once an asset, whether it is a digital asset or a content item, has been reviewed, approved, it can be published, and then it becomes available through Content Delivery API. And can be consumed, for example, on a site that we are building through the Content and Experience Cloud. Next slide, please, Diego. Digital assets dump capabilities are available through both web UI, and you saw the screenshot earlier, as well as through the mobile device. On the mobile device, and you can not only look at assets in a collection, upload assets, you can also participate in the approval process, meaning that you can check assets in a collection, and if you have the right to approve assets, you can immediately approve it through a mobile device, which allows you to participate in managing, working, collaborating on the assets on the go. All other capabilities, such as the notifications about the new assets available or uploaded to the system, they are available on the mobile device as well. Next slide, please. So the second area, which I already mentioned, is the ability to create and manage structured content in the product. First of all, before you can start contributing content items or editorial content, as we call them, the content architect in your organization needs to define content model. We give content architect this ability through a content types editor, which allows to use drag and drop gestures to build content type. So we, in April release, we support 8 content types. In April release, when building content types, we allow you to use 8 data fields. Each of the data fields has a variety of options that you can use. It could be single value, multi-value, as well as we allow you to use data fields that refer to images, digital assets, or refer to other content items. Through references between content items, you can actually define quite complex content model. Once you build content type, you have an option to define a layout for this content type. What that means that when data or editorial content is delivered and being consumed, you can select layout associated with the type to render this content item on the page. And we can specify a number of layouts. Tiago, next slide, please. So these are the data fields that we support, and really I put on this slide several editor screens for the data fields that we support, simply to illustrate that there is a variety of options available for you to select. For example, if you pick up a text field, you can have define it as a single value data field or a multi-value data field. If you define it as a multi-value or single value data field, you can specify the type of editing experience that you provide to contributors that will create content item. It could be a kind of a drop-down, it could be a radio button select, or it could be, for example, simply an input text field for the text, and so on. Going forward, we will add more data fields to allow you creating even more complex content models. Next slide, please. So once the content model has been defined and content types shared with the contributors, contributors can go to the content items area in the web UI and add new content item based on the type that was shared with them. For example, they can pick up content type article and then use what we call content builder or content item editor. That's the screen in the middle, the screenshot in the middle, to contribute content item. Content item editor displays kind of a form-based UI for either entering text or selecting other content items to link to this content item, or selecting images that you would want to use in your content item. Once you contributed content to the item, in the editor, we give you an option to preview content item, well, by selecting one of the layouts associated with the content type that this item is based on. In addition to that, we allow you to check how this specific layout, selected layout, would look in the areas of different width. So in that way, you can really understand how the content item that you are contributing would look on a page or on a device where you are planning to consume it. Next slide, please. I already talked about the ability to associate content layouts with their content type. The content layout that we support is really an HTML JavaScript template. By default, we give you an ability to use Mustache templates, Mustache.js templates. This is really our default choice, but the architecture of the product is open, so that which means that you can easily use any other JavaScript templates to build layouts. So it could be, I don't know, handlebars or Mist or any other JavaScript layout that you can use. Content layouts are managed in the component catalog, which means that we allow you to use exactly the same kind of a tooling gesture like desktop sync and so on for editing, managing files in your content layout. Another new capabilities that we added to really facilitate building the pages with content items or images or digital assets is ability to use section layouts. Really, the section layouts is a control, gives you control how a number of content items are rendered on the page. Through the settings, you can specify, for example, responsive breakpoints for a horizontal layout, or you can specify how many items would be displayed in the vertical content layout, and so on. So we provide several content layout out of the box, seeded section layout, sorry, out of the box, but we also allow you to develop custom section layouts. And in a custom section layout, you can basically code a very complex behavior of the content items that are added to this section layout. Next slide, please. So once you contributed content items in the site builder, you can easily pick up these content items and add them to the page. To select content item, we added, to allow you selecting content items or digital assets from collections, we added a new panel which is called content to the site builder. When you select content panel, then you will see a list of content items that you contributed to the site content collection. You can pick up item on any item from this list and then drag and drop it on the page directly on the page. When you drag and drop it on the page, behind the scene, we wrap it into the content item components. Alternatively, you can first add content item component and then pick content item through the settings of this component, and then also through the settings or the content item component, you can select layout that you want to use to render this item on the page. There are two more editorial content related components that you will see in April release. One of them is content list. Content list allows you to configure and use content query to obtain a list of content items. Typically, you would use content list together with the section layout, and the section layout will really control how the items returned by the content query are displayed on the page. And the last component, which is called content placeholder, is typically used on what we call detail page. So when you're building a site, you can specify one or several detail page. And then you can configure either content item, and on the detail page, you would typically use content placeholder. Content placeholder is a kind of special component that can display really multiple types, content items of multiple types. So then on the, once you define this detail page, you can, in a content item component or a content list component, you can select this detail page, and then each time visitor clicks on a specific content item on the list, the full, for example, content item, full view of the content item will be displayed on the detail page. So this is the experience we provide you for building sites in the site builder. Next slide, please.
Thanks, Igor. Okay, so if you think about what Igor just covered, which is the capability of managing and collaborating on digital assets and content, structured content. We take a step back. For those of you who are familiar with our Documents Cloud service, it's just expanded the type of documents that we allow to manage and collaborate on. So previously it was just business documents, if you may, primarily, which is Office documents, PDFs. And now we have a rich way to manage digital assets and also structured content, which is what he was talking about, editorial content management. But the fundamentals of that do not change, which is you still need a way to have a collaboration layer on top of this content. You still need a way to access this content on your desktop. And that's where some of the key fundamental technologies that we already have come into play. So for example, if you were using your mobile application, you were probably having a conversation on a document. We keep expanding upon those capabilities so that we can give you a more holistic collaborative experience. So in the April release, what we've also now done is if you had any conversation, if you had some unread messages or some flags in the conversation, then we give you an easy way to find those relevant flags and relevant unread messages right within that conversation. And many of you have actually asked us for this enhancement, so you'll be familiar with that. The other thing which I think is important to me to highlight is if you are like me and you participate in many conversations, your phone's pretty much always are buzzing. Now, of course, we have a way to turn off notifications, but I don't want to do that. I want to receive notifications only for those relevant conversations which I'm actively monitoring, not necessarily participating, but I'm monitoring. And so that is a way to obviously to favorite conversations, favorite documents, etc. So now you have a way to filter those notifications only for those favorited conversations. I think that makes it really more effective and more useful. So that's on the, even though the screenshot is that of an Android device, but it is also applicable to both iOS and Android. Now, just like I said, right, I mean, the fundamentals do not change. We have a desktop application, which is our sync application. It helps you to sync documents from the cloud. With the digital assets capability, we also obviously sync those digital assets to the desktop. And again, this really adds a differentiation layer to us. All the kind of the niche digital asset management player do not have this folder management capability on the desktop. So we give you that because we believe that in the workflow for creating digital assets, you are going to be working collaboratively, not within the company, but also externally with digital agencies. So they're going to share documents, you're going to receive those documents, and then bring it in through the digital asset folder on your desktop. And then we continue to improve the fundamentals of the app, both on Windows and Mac. And in this, if you are the Mac user, then you really want to make that available in Windows, in the Mac dock view. So we've added that capability. In Windows, you can always do that, but we added that capability on the Mac application. Okay, the next few slides, I'm going to talk about some of the platform, core fundamental platform capabilities that we have introduced as part of this release. Many of you in this call are always itching to build custom integration, custom applications using our APIs, platform capabilities, and so you'll find this valuable. So one of the most commonly requested items from our developers is, hey, I'm building this custom application through your Experience Builder, but I want to call a third-party REST API right from within the site's interface. How do I do that? And right now, if you would have done it, you have workarounds to do that, but mostly you would run into course issues. So now we give you the capability natively out of the box to have support for a REST proxy, and you can configure that through the administration UI. And I'm not going to go through each and every line item here. You'll have the documentation which guides you how you can configure this. But the fundamentals is very simple. You give a proxy endpoint, and that proxy endpoint is basically going to be calling your whatever REST endpoint, whatever endpoint that you want to call. It could be a web app endpoint as well. It really helps you to make external REST API calls from within Content Cloud. It could be an API call from REST API, from sites to, if you want to make it to documents, that could be one type of call. But we also give you ways to eliminate through CORS natively in the product, so that's not a great example. If you wanted to make a call from REST to any third-party application, that's probably a better example. So that's one big one that we introduced, and this is something that we've been working on for quite some time, but it had a lot of dependency on our infrastructure to be able to provide you that. So I'm really glad that this came out as part of the April release, and I think you'll find this very valuable. The next one, which is the capability for being able to add custom renditions. Now, I want to be very specific here. This is all available through APIs today. It's not available in the UI in the product. We always want to do API first. The goal here is very simple. For a specific file that has been added, you can add different or more renditions, custom renditions. That's the word I was trying to look for, in addition to that native file. These renditions are not generated automatically, so right now you will have to upload different renditions, but at least you have the APIs to do that. And obviously you can upload renditions, then obviously you should be able to delete renditions as well, and you should be able to list it as well. So that's I thought a pretty useful feature coming up in as part of the APIs. Data. Sorry, was there a question? Okay. I'll keep going. And then there is the capability to have metadata search in the API. Again, not in the UI, but in the UI, in the API. You can now add the custom properties that you could add before. Now you can add it to the search index. You can specify which fields you want to specify in the for search, and then they can be indexed. And then it's either searchable via full text or is searchable through the query text also. When the documentation comes out, you will have all details about what are the details of those API calls, what are the responses, etc. But I just wanted to give you a heads up that this is coming. And,
Hello?
Yes?
Hi, quick question. So you mentioned that the search is available through the REST API, not the UI. When do you think it will be available through the UI to search for a specific metadata information?
Yeah. So metadata search within the UI is still in the roadmap. I don't have clear timelines on that yet, but once we do, we can share that with you.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, not a problem. The other thing that we've done, I think this, in my opinion, we should have done this right at the get-go, which is you have a document today, and at the minimum, you want to associate a conversation with that document. You cannot, today the way to do that is a pretty convoluted way in which you can create a conversation and associate it with the document. We've given you a much easier way through the REST API so that you can create a conversation associated with the file right within one call itself. Again, all of this is available through documentation, but this is a capability that some of the partners have asked for, including the next one, which was actually a customer requirement, where in the call for when you get folders, when you get the list of users for a folder, for a shared folder, what it does not display, it returns right now the GUID, the GUID, and the display name. What it does not return is the login ID of that user. We've added the login ID. And it makes some of the integrations with some of the other applications in the same identity domain, like, for example, Process Cloud Service, much more powerful. The GUID is a content-only concept, right? I mean, it's not the same GUID in Process, for example, and name is not unique. But if you use login ID, there were certain use cases that it can really help with. So this returning the login ID along with this in the response was something that we added in this release. And finally, on using these APIs, obviously we want to foster as many out-of-the-box integrations as possible. BI Publisher is an Oracle product, and I think many of you may be familiar with that product. It's really helps you to provide a complete document generation and delivery solution. What it does is it can extract and combine data from a variety of data sources. And then it normally targets the line of business user. So if you're a line of business user, you can create these report layouts using some desktop tools, whether it is Microsoft Word or Adobe Professional. It doesn't matter, but you can create these layouts on top of the data that's coming in from those sources. Again, all of this can be configured in BI Publisher. And then finally, the output, the report output from BI Publisher, that document can be generated in a wide variety of formats. Those are the formats that they support today. So all that stuff is not new, but the interesting thing is the delivery of those reports. They did support a wide variety of delivery channels. What you see now is an additional channel for cloud, for content and experience cloud. What it means is that you can now, and again, I'm making this use case up, you can, for example, HR uses BI Publisher quite a bit, primarily to generate, let's say, pay stubs, right? So you can use the HR records data coming in, you can create your report whatever format you want, export it into PDF, and then you can publish into Content and Experience Cloud and you can make it available in different folders, one for each employee, but each folder is only accessible for that specific employee. Again, it really enables you to create some really rich intranet solutions, which are all fundamental use cases for Content and Experience Cloud. I wanted to just call that out because we see a lot of these use cases where we build intranet solutions. This just kind of enables that even further. Okay, I think there's quite a bit of stuff, as I said, in our April release. I do not expect that you would have consumed all of this information in this 30 minutes. But my goal was to just give you at least a teaser of what these features are. And then obviously, many of you will have questions. Feel free to reach us back. With that, I'll pass the ball now to Igor to give us a quick demo, maybe 10 minutes, 10 minutes is probably okay. And then we'll again talk about the roadmap. And then in the meantime, I'll look at some questions that have come in, and then I'll try to answer them as well.
Okay, thank you, Tiago. So this will be really a very quick demo to just show you that everything that Tiago and I were talking about is really in the product. So I started my kind of a section of today's meeting by describing the digital assets. So here's the digital assets area in the product that allows you to manage the assets by, for example, uploading new assets or tagging your assets or really by adding assets to a collection. So here's, for example, I selected a digital assets. I can add it to one of the available collections. I'll go to collections and talk about this a little bit later. You can also preview an item, and in the preview item, you can add annotations to this image, like, for example, say, I don't know, change flower, and so on. Oops, okay, sorry, this is the development instance on this thing somehow still working. So moving on, so let's move to the similar area, which is really the content items area. So in the content items area, you are able to manage content items in a similar way to digital assets. So, for example, I selected one of the articles that I have here, and I can view, edit this item, I can tag this item, and so on. But before I go to showing what that means, I'll show you how you can really build your content item. Through the Manage Types area, Manage Types kind of option, you can access of content types that were already created on the system, or you can create a new content type. So if I'll open, for example, the content type that already exists on this instance, so this is an article content type. So what you see here is the content type definition. So as you can see, it has been built using a number of data fields. And this here is the list of data fields that we have in the product today. As I mentioned earlier, each of the data fields is kind of configurable, so you can select single value, for example, for text, multi-value, define the field as mandatory. You can really select how this field appears in the content item editor for the end users. So it, for example, could be text area or radio buttons. You also have option to add validation, so if to a field. So, and here we kind of give you several options. Either it is a pre-built validation, like length validation, so you can limit text to, say, 500 characters, or in fact, you can select custom validation. So you can add, make sure that the text is validated in email. So this is the pre-built regular expression that runs this validation. So obviously, you can modify regular expression, and you actually can have like some custom validation in the custom field that would validate the field based on the rules that you need to enforce. So there is a variety of fields as I described. So the text is kind of text, number, decimal, Boolean, they're kind of self-explanatory. What you can do with media, you can really select an image. It allows you to select an image from one of the digital managed in the DOM area. Reference allows you to define references to other content items. So once the content type has been built and association between content types defined as necessary, you can really go back to the content item area, and now you can create a content item. Creating content item allows you to, first of all, pick a type, and this is, for example, an article, and if I'll give it a name, and select, for example, collection, I can start creating new content items. So as you can see here, so this is the form-based editor that is auto-generated for the fields defined in in the type. So you can see title, image, and for an image, I have an option to select image that I have in either in one of the collections or like in my all area, and add it to the content items. I can, once item is selected, I can really preview it. Well, obviously, I didn't specify much here, so by default, the previous value name pair, or I can select a content item. So, okay, let me just.
Igor, can I ask a question?
Yes, sure.
There's a question in the chat about references in the content item.
Yes.
So what is the behavior when the referenced image or the asset in the content item gets deleted?
That's a great question. So at the moment we delete, we do not allow you to delete asset that is referenced from a content items. It is flagged as being used, so you can't really delete it. So anyway, let me just select something that has data so that I can show you really how the preview works. So here's the content item. So by default, we give you a preview of kind of value, name value pairs. I can select content layout to preview the content item. So this is the content item. Its preview. I can select and check how this item would look on a narrow area, and so on. So switching quickly to the area. So this is the area where you would manage your content layouts, for example. So I can, in addition to familiar components, you can now have here content layouts, and you can really add new content layouts here. And the similar, I don't have many, you can create a custom section layout as I described earlier on. So behind the scene, there is a kind of HTML JavaScript that you can edit in a similar way as you do for components. Switching gears to the really site builder. So what I wanted to show you here is two new panels that we have on the landing page here. So first of all, it is a panel with section layouts, and these are the section layouts that we seed. Tabs will not be available in April release. It will come in the release later. We also plan to add a few more layouts going forward. Another area is really the area with the content. So that displays items in items in their collection. So as you can see here, these are the content items available in the collection. All the items kind of rendered live. And then you can drag and drop items on the page in the builder. So this is really a quick demo, so I'm conscious of time, so I'll stop sharing and we'll go back to really the slides unless you have any questions.
Igor, there's one question on the reference about being single-valued or multi-valued.
It could be either, could be single value or multi-value.
Okay.
So it could be, you can specify, for example, refer to an array of content items. There were also questions, actually I saw I was trying to type in answers. There's one question about the content layouts. Content layouts are available through the Content Delivery SDK. So the Content Delivery SDK is a thin wrapper around Content Delivery API, and it kind of provides helper methods such as create connection, and one of the helper methods allows you to inject a content item rendered with a selected layout into a div. So basically, this method takes three parameters: content item ID, category of the layout to use, and then the div ID on the page into which you want to inject rendered content item. So that's really how it works. There was also actually a great question about the ability to use comments, and actually it will be addressed on the coming slides. So what we are adding going forward, in addition to the data fields that you saw on the screen during the demo, we will add a data field which is called comments, and this data field would allow you to use comments for content items created based on this type. We will provide kind of a social server will provide support for the commenting UI. So if you render content items on a page and you enable commenting, there will be a UI rendered for comments. There was also a related question about anonymous user access. So anonymous users will be able to see comment thread, for example, or conversation thread if you use conversation like separately. However, in order to make a comment, to post a comment, user will need to log in.
Yes.
Initially, we will support login. Yep. Sorry, Tiago, go ahead.
No, I said I did answer that, and I talked about.
Oh, I see. Sorry. Okay. I just, that was the last question I read. Okay. So let's move on to really new capabilities that we will be adding after April release. So in the digital asset area, we first of all we add ability to we will extract EXIF metadata, and you will see those metadata for images that you work in the digital assets area, and you will be able to use this metadata for, I don't know, search or really for rendering these images on a page, for example. Then we will extend content and experience service with the rendition service, which will allow us to generate renditions for images and videos. And then obviously you will be able to use generated renditions like image of a different site in your content item. Next slide, please. Well, in April, I talked at length about structured content, editorial content. Behind the scene, we have a content delivery API. So in the April release, we are not exposing content delivery API publicly because we need to make some changes to certain signature methods to make them compliant with Oracle standard. Soon after, we'll make the API public. And through this API, as I already described, you also will be able to manage comments and through content as SDK as well. On the SDK, initially we will make public content kind of delivery preview SDK. Going forward, we will also add the content management SDK. Next slide, please. Another area that we are enhancing is really ability to support multi-channel content delivery or what we describe it, publishing content to multiple channels. So today in the product, we allow you to publish content through basically 3 channels. 2 are system channels, such as like public, system public channel and system secure channel. That public obviously allows you, for example, to publish images that will become publicly available. And the 3rd channel is the channels, kind of a generic publishing channels that are auto-generated for each site you create in the Content and Experience Cloud. Going forward, we will allow really ability to manually create publishing channels, both of generic type, as well as we will support for creating publishing channel to publish content to Twitter or Oracle Social Cloud, or for example to RIT services such as Alexa or Cortana or Siri. In this area, we are adding support also for webhooks, which will allow both kind of external applications to be notified on, like, for example, content updates, as well as content item to be notified when, I don't know, for example, publishing to Facebook failed or otherwise successful. Next slide, please. Another area, and there was actually a question in the chat that we are working on, is really support for content targeting, personalization, as well as kind of A/B testing. Today, you can use Maximizer with sites built using in Content Experience Cloud and Experience Cloud, use kind of a standard mechanism. And on this slide, really the summary of how this can be achieved. There are 2 options. One is available for managing kind of digital assets when you use Maximizer with sites. One option is use Maximizer content repository, or you can simply use the so-called from URL feature to really use images delivered through our API. Going forward, and next slide, please, we are working together with Maximizer team to really leverage their user visitor profile service as well as decision engine to enable targeting and targeting personalization of the content that is delivered through our content delivery API. So in summary, we will allow creating experiences in our user interface and then defining really using maximize the visitor service, defining audiences. So, for example, visitors from Europe or something similar, and then defining kind of a variance of the content items that would be delivered based on the return from rule run by the decision engine. So another area that we will be looking here is leveraging kind of analytics capabilities. All that is really will be coming into the product later in the year. Next slide, please. And this is really the way, kind of a conceptual model of how the kind of targeting, content targeting will work. So in the product, in the Content Cloud, you would start by creating experience. For the experience, you will define delivery channels. For example, it could be a site or Twitter or anything else. You would define content variants for the content items that you have in, for example, collection associated with the channel. Then you define audiences that you want this variance to target. When this experience kind of run, we will talk, or Content Cloud will talk to maximize the decision engine, and the decision engine will really return us a suggestion what variant of the content item to return to display on a page. Next slide.
Okay, thanks, Igor.
Thank you.
Okay, in the next few slides, this is probably the last few slides, I'll talk about some of the enhancements that are coming up from the collaboration and content management standpoint. We talked about this last time. There's a lot of investment going on right now on building and on providing capabilities to create community elements within the product. So we'll give you the capability to start with a community template and create a community site, which can have moderated Q&A elements to it. So it's really bringing our experience management, our conversation capabilities, content management all coming together here, if you may. And the idea here is that when you capture this user-generated content as part of this community, you can be, that's also treated as another piece of content, and then that can be embedded into, let's say, a structured content that you're building. For example, you're creating a new news article about a promotion launch, and you want to extract a community comment coming from one of users and embed it into that article. You can do all of that. And the best part of this is that all of this is built using the embeddable component architecture that we are enforcing across all of Oracle Platform as a Service. So you should be able to take your community element and embed it into, let's say, a custom application that you built through, let's say, Application Builder Cloud Service, another PaaS product. Or if you wanted to extend a Service Cloud offering, which is actually something that we're working with them right now, you should be able to embed a community within Service Cloud as well. There's a lot of interesting options. This is coming very soon as part of our Content and Experience Cloud roadmap. And then fundamentally, from a collaboration standpoint, we continue to make enhancements across the board. The most important of which is obviously the ability to edit Office documents in a seamless fashion right from your mobile device, and also to be able to annotate on those documents. Today you have a way to have a conversation on those documents, but we do not yet provide you capabilities to annotate. There are small technical challenges with that. For example, you want to retain the exact position where the annotation was, as is one of those challenges. but we are solving them. And as we go through our roadmap, we will actually release that once we're confident that it has met all the challenges that we faced. And then from an analytics standpoint, Igor touched upon this. We are going to be introducing at a very minimum, we're going to have an overview dashboard. This is going to show you a quick summary across the board of your collaboration activities. For example, if there are some missed conversations where you have some new comments coming in, unread comments, recent document updates, how much storage have you consumed, whether you have to moderate some comments, whether there are some content awaiting your approval. So all of that stuff coming up in one rich dashboard so that you can take actionable these are all actionable updates, right? These are updates from which on you can take action and get your job done faster. At the end of the day, fundamental to all of this is that it is also a productivity tool. So we want to continue enhancing that. And we are not far. We've already got our user experience designs. We've shared it with some of your customers and partners to do some validation. And now we're actually in the process of implementing that. And one of the fundamentals of our strategy has always been that content, believing that all the content is going to be stored on our cloud is not going to happen. I mean, we take this with our current customers as well. There's a bunch of customers who've got content on, let's say, Web Center content, or they've got content in Web Center sites, or it could be a third-party repository like SharePoint. So what we want to be providing is a way in which it is possible to connect to content in other repositories and then expose them as proxy assets, content and Experience Cloud. And we provide the value-added features of, let's say, collaborating on that content, making it go through a review approval process, adding it through structured content, and being able to publish that through any of the delivery channels that you have. So all in all, it's really, we make the content production, operation, and publishing process really, really effective, without necessarily expecting that the content is going to be stored in a repository. Sure, if it is stored in a repository, that's fine. We obviously will give you all the audit trails that is necessary, but that is not the requirement to actually use content and Experience Cloud. So this is something that the work has started, the design work has started on, and we're going to be using that. And then moving on, one of you had asked questions on groups capability. So that's, in fact, we already started. The work is underway. This is going to be part, fingers crossed, as part of our next release, where you will be able to create private groups, not public groups right now. And then you'll be able to share the folder, share conversations, share sites with those groups of people. And then very soon you'll also be able to integrate with your LDAP groups. As part of the integrations that are available, we talked about the BI Publisher integration. If any of you had attended Collaborate, we actually announced this integration at Collaborate, which is out-of-the-box integration with JD Edwards. So what it really, two major things happening here. Now, as part of JD Edwards, Content Cloud storage option is now available out of the box, which means you can access your cloud folder, you can drag and drop files effortlessly into that Documents Cloud or Content Cloud folder, etc. And same thing with conversations as well. You should be able to create a conversation in context of, let's say, your invoices or purchase orders right from within JD Edwards. Talking about integrations, we are working with other ISVs like Adobe. So Adobe also has, similar to Microsoft Office, they have also started to make their ecosystem more open so that content can come from different repositories. And so now you can the user can set up a connection with Oracle content right from within Acrobat or Acrobat Writer or Reader, and then you browse your Oracle Content Experience Cloud folders right from within Adobe's product. Now, this integration is completed, but it is not yet released. It's still finally going through all the red tapes of the legal work, and then once it is done, then it will be released. The same thing with Office. We have two projects underway with Office. Actually, with Office, actually, we made more progress. So all the legal paperwork is all completed. What we really need to do now is tie in with their walking APIs. That's what they call it. I don't know what it stands for, but really the idea is that today, when you have a document which is available on the web, if I want to edit it, I have to download this document and then being able to edit it. But let's say I don't want to bring it to my desktop. I want to do it all online. So I should be able to open the document through Office online, be able to make those changes, and seamlessly that will be updated into a new revision on Content Cloud. So that's coming very soon. And same thing with mobile, which I already talked about as part of our mobile enhancements. More mobile improvements in terms of being able to access sites from within mobile device. We allow you to do that. We do have some challenges when you have to access a secure site, but that is getting resolved as part of our next release. But we want to go even further. What if you wanted to mark certain sites as your favorite sites and have an easy way to navigate through your favorite sites right from your mobile application? What if you want to receive push notifications today for content updates? Today you receive push notifications on your mobile only for conversation-related updates. What if you want to receive push notifications on, let's say, a site publishing update? You should be able to do that. Also in iOS 10, there's a lot of enhancements with 3D touch support. So we have of concept that has already been built. We just want to make it productized and launch that. So again, a lot of enhancement from the mobile perspective. And same thing with desktop, more tied with performance enhancements more than anything else. We're actually doing POCs with some of our marquee customers today, especially those who are resident outside our United States, to figure out whether some of these performance enhancements that we have done natively within the product is actually helping to improve it. The initial results are very, very positive, and we want to release this soon out of the box within the product. Again, it's coming very soon. In the next release, we'll find an update on performance improvement for downloads, and the one after that is the performance improvement for uploads. And then lastly, we don't want to forget developers, right? End of the day, this is an experience building tool that we provide. And so we provide you with a lot of ways in which we'll have SDKs to build some of these custom components. We'll give you some of the common component architecture to integrate not just with Oracle Platform as a Service, also to integrate some of the things that we build with Oracle SaaS applications. We give you APIs and SDKs to build some of these common components. And lastly, out of the box, we're going to have integrations with Developer Cloud Service so that you can manage your code, you manage your artifacts, and be able to publish that right from within Developer Cloud Service. So that is also going to come up in as part of our next release, the Developer Cloud Service integration, and we'll talk about that at length. But again, I know there's a lot of things to consume, but I really wanted to give you guys a quick update on things that are coming up, because this is exciting times. These are exciting times. And a lot of good things are coming up as part is coming out in this weekend. And subsequent to that, as you saw, the roadmap is looking richer and richer with each passing day. Igor, are there still any open questions that you need to answer? Are we good?
Yeah, go ahead, guys. Please ask, because I'm actually reviewing chat at the moment, but if you feel something not answered, please speak up. Okay, there was a question. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yeah. There was a question and just kind of integrations with Oracle Marketing Cloud. That's a good question. So there are several areas that we are working on. First of all, we are working with Oracle Marketing Cloud to for example, with responses team to replace responses content repository with content and experience cloud. So for initially in kind of likely at the end of this year, beginning of calendar 2018, new responses customers will be able to use content and experience cloud as the main content repository for responses. Similar projects are kind of being run in parallel with Eloqua. I mentioned that we are working on the integration with the SRM, social listening, kind of a cloud to enable publishing to social channels such as Twitter, LinkedIn, well, anything that they support from the content and experience cloud. We will obviously leverage their analytics, their listening capabilities. So these are the key areas of the integration that we are working on. We're also working together with Oracle Commerce Cloud, again, in the area of they're broadly interested in two areas, obviously ability to use digital asset management capabilities from the content cloud, as well as the ability to use kind of layouts and structured content to support product catalogs, product cards in the content cloud. So these are the projects that we're working on, so stay tuned to learn more later in the year. Okay, review and approval questions. So review and approval questions of ANDED really applies universally across editorial content or digital assets. The review and approval is done at collection level. For a collection, you can assign approval policy. In April release, we support two approval policies. Well, one is obviously no approval required, and then the second is the approval by the collection manager. Going forward, we will support two more approval policies. One is approved by individual users, so you will be able to select users, for example, from compliance, who need to review and approve content in this collection. And the last policy that we will allow you to use is submit to workflow. So there will be an approval workflow. We're looking at several options, and certainly we will workflow options, and certainly one of the options is using Process Cloud Service for that.
Awesome. Okay.
Probably, sorry, last question, Tiago. Will see Content Cloud come with DevCS licenses? That's a great question. Well, the DevCS really free to start with. So you can use DevCS with the Content Cloud, and we will release several kind of integration points between Content Cloud and DevCS, for example, for developing custom components, themes, whatnot. The subscription for DevCS is required when you want to bring like your own storage or use custom application containers with the DevCS. Otherwise, it's kind of a free for customers.
I have seen one question also from Jude Robbins we didn't answer, which is he wanted to make sure that we've seen this question. Is there a viable migration path today, or do we have a vision for that, about UCM Site Studio customer that want to migrate to this new solution?
Okay. Well, we do not have tools for such migration. So that's the first answer to level set. However, I think it would be a viable solution, especially as in the context viable solution as migrating kind of a Site Studio sites to run on the Content Cloud. If you would answer question regarding kind of failover, disaster recovery support, or other kind of enterprise capabilities, we started migration of Content and Experience Cloud to a different infrastructure. And on this infrastructure, we will allow really to configure Content Cloud for failover, so that will make kind of a migration from Site Studio even more viable.
Terrific. Okay, we are 10 minutes past the hour. I think it was indeed a lot of content. And as we normally do, we will send out to the customers and partners on the call, we will send out an update once the release has happened over the weekend, including the release notes, including the recording to this presentation, and also link to this deck. So thank you all for joining us today. I'd like to thank Igor, who obviously helped a lot together this material, and also for the demo and all the questions that he's answered. Thank you, and have a good rest of the week.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Noel.